Hi, I'm Kat, and this is today's tarot. I wanted to let everyone know that I did open up my schedule again to offer astrology readings as well as tarot readings and aromatherapy readings, and I'm also making my body care products and offering those again now that I finally moved. Yay. If you are interested in an astrology reading, I offer both readings where we look at your beginning natal chart. We can focus on that, or we can also look at the transits that are happening right now. With the tarot readings, I typically do like to spend about 10 minutes looking at the transits that are going on for a person prior to the reading, which run about an hour to an hour and a half. And then I also offer messages in a bottle, which are aromatic readings done with essential oils that I create with the assistance of your personal guides and archangels. I've been reading cards and also making personal blends for more than 20 years, and I am excited to start offering these services to people again. I offer the astrology readings. I can either do recordings or we can go live over the phone. And then the aromatic readings, I typically will ship to you and write up a card that details why each essential oil was chosen for you based on what was chosen for you in that session. So let's go ahead and get to today's tarot. If you do feel called to get a reading or schedule some time with me, I'll put a link to my email down below, as well as a link to other services that I offer, because I'm also a trained nutritionist, an herbalist, and aromatherapist as well. I do also sell skincare and therapeutics online. So I'm excited to offer all of these things again now that I'm finally settled. Let's look at today's tarot. So the opening card that we have for today is the Ace of Cups. So if you imagine yourself holding a cup and it's overflowing, it's almost as if there's so much going on emotionally that things are being kind of washed out, and there's a new openness and a new vulnerability to life in experience overall. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, although it can be definitely overwhelming, because it can kind of be, it can sweep us away because these new opportunities that come in for the emotional center can be exciting and can ultimately leave us vulnerable in life. Now, the challenge that we have showing up for today is the Ace of Wands. So there's some inspiration, some calling of sorts that's coming in, some new idea or conception of a new project that is initiating, and yet it's showing up as a challenge today, which may mean that, you know, we just have hesitancy to do it, or we have this revisiting of something that we've been inspired to do in the past that we haven't had time to put toward. And it's a challenge for us because we feel this force, and yet there might be something else that's kind of like tying us down, and we feel you know, like it's too much. Like the inspiration is going to bring up new shifts and new changes in our lives that are challenging in some way. Now, the way we're going to get through the challenge is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is reminding us to have patience and to set time aside to actually get things underway. You know, if we can be inspired to do something, we may want it to happen tomorrow. We may want it to be totally completed today, but that's not how things work. If we look at how things manifest in the world, they take time. And so this is reminding us to take time and be patient within that structure itself, which comes down to, you know, making small efforts over an extended amount of time and being disciplined with those efforts, much like gardening. You know, if you know me, you know I love to garden on top of all the things that I do, because it's so rewarding to work with the earth, and I learn so much from working with the earth in different plants, and you know, what conditions they thrive in, and when's the right time to plant them, and what lighting conditions they like, and all of it will create the space for it to bloom and for its fruit to ripen and all of these things, and our lives are a lot like that. So this is reminding us to have patience. You know, you can't expect to put a plant in a pot and have it bloom the next day. You have to be willing and surrender in some ways to the process of having things develop. And so in that way, we can get through this challenge of this idea that we want to happen like right away, because we can make small efforts to bring it into fruition and set up the right conditions, which a lot of the time means setting aside, you know, a structure to work on completing that project and that task. Now, the overall energy that we have for today is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a card that is governed by Taurus, and so it is speaking to our beliefs, our structure in life, and also this kind of teaching that comes from a divine place and a higher place. It can also be speaking to something that is revealed today through the process of our day, and it's revealing something that's very sacred and very important to us. It's also reminding us to, you know, when the world feels like it's shaking under your feet, where do you put your faith? Where do you put your beliefs? And it can also be bringing up that there is some person that is stepping in today that is going to be teaching you something around where to put your faith and where to anchor your feet. Consider that Taurus is an earth-ruled sign, and it governs our body, and it governs our belief system and our material finances as well. It's earth, it's things of a material nature. And yet, as the Hierophant, it's lending this teaching around our value system. And I like to reflect on what's going on astrologically when cards show up that are reflective of certain zodiac signs, because planets are sometimes in that sign in our star system. And right now, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. And so for the last couple of years, Uranus, which is the planet of unexpected change to outworn conditions that stand in the way of progress, Uranus has been sitting in this sign of Taurus, which is all about stability and structure and routine and, you know, creating something that is earth in nature, like something that's stable. And Uranus has been like kind of, you know, it's interesting because Taurus is related to the bull, but the bull in like the china shop, right? Like where everything is kind of fragile and it's like upsetting everything, and all of a sudden something that you valued for so long is like broken and there's nothing that you can do about it, or it's changed and there's nothing you can do about it but adjust. And through that adjustment, it shows you something really amazing, which is that you are far more capable of things than you ever thought you possibly were. And that's because we've been trying to maintain this structure and keep this stability and prevent any kind of change from happening. And yet it's through the change that we experience friction that new ideas are born, right? Fire comes from friction. Inspiration comes from friction. New things are created out of friction. And so it gives us an opportunity because of the shift that has happened. And it allows us to see through this veil that we've been looking at the world through, in that there's far more possible beyond it than we ever realized, because we've been stitching any tear to that veil as quickly as we possibly could. But when we realize what we're actually capable of, and that we're capable of far more than we actually could conceive of, then we don't dread change so much. And so in this way, life and the shifts that happen in life can be our greatest teacher, because they teach us what we are truly capable of. And they teach us that it is important to follow your inspiration, because you never know what's actually beyond it when you give a little bit of time and dedicate some efforts and discipline into bringing it into fruit. So that is the tarot reading of the day. If you are interested in a reading from me, feel free to reach out to me at rootsofalchemy@gmail.com. I send you so much love, and I'll see you again soon.